consultation FOC between the two countries. Dr. Hassan Mahmoud also requested the Deputy Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan to import garments, medicines, jute products, tropical fruits, ceramic, IT and other service providing products from Bangladesh. Besides, the minister also urged the Deputy Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan to support the signing of free trade agreement between Bangladesh and European Economic Commission and also to support candidates from Bangladesh at various international forums. Deputy Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan, Ovazbek Atakanov, promised to support Bangladesh on various issues, including signing of the free trade agreement with European Economic Commission. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Sabir Hossain Chowdhury has said carrying out climate adaptation activities is a challenge for all nations, while global solidarity is urgent for climate adaptation actions. He said this while moderating the second session of NAP Expo 2024 in Dhaka today. Sabir Hossain Chowdhury pointed out that although per capita carbon emission of Bangladesh is only 0.48%, it is one of the worst victims of global climate change. Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Simon Steele, and Environment, Forest and Climate Change Secretary Dr. Farhina Ahmed, among others, spoke at the session. Around 383 representatives from 104 countries have been participating in the 4-day NAP Expo 2024, while 550 people, including representatives of various ministries, departments and organizations of the country, climate experts, representatives of NGOs and volunteers are joining it. Moving on to international news. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to reject any sanctions on the country's military after reports that the U.S. plans to cut aid to one of its military units. The Prime Minister said yesterday he will fight it with all his strength. Earlier, the Axios news site said the U.S. would target Israel's Netza Yehuda battalion over alleged human rights violations in the occupied West Bank. Washington, Israel's main ally, has never suspended aid to an IDF unit before. The Israeli military said Netza Yehuda was operating in accordance with international law. Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant called on the U.S. to withdraw its intention to sanction Netza Yehuda, saying the world was watching the ties between the U.S. and Israel more closely than ever. Meanwhile, the Israeli military's intelligence chief has resigned, saying he took responsibility for the failures before Hamas's attack on Israel on 7th of October. The Israel Defense Forces IDF said Major General Aharon Haliva would retire once his successor was selected. Israeli attacks continue across Gaza, with 7 killed in the Nusayrat refugee camp after a day of bombings that killed 24 people in southern Rafah city, including 16 children and 6 women. Civil defense workers have recovered 210 bodies so far from a mass grave found after Israeli forces withdrew from the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis. A baby girl delivered from the womb of a woman killed in the Rafah attack is in stable conditions, doctors say. Philip Lazzarini, the head of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, said Israeli settler violence is imposing a state of constant fear in the occupied West Bank. Meanwhile, the World Food Programme says it delivered fuel and wet flour to bakeries in northern Gaza so they can begin production again after 170 days of being inoperable. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in northern Gaza are at risk of famine as ongoing fighting and Israel's limited entry of aid has decimated its food supply. Former U.S. President Donald Trump stared straight ahead as the prosecution outlined its case in the historic hush money trial. Donald Trump listens as Matthew Colangelo with the Manhattan DA's office begins its opening statement in the case. Trump is accused of trying to cover up a $130,000 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels before he won the 2016 election. He has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records and also denies having an affair with Daniels. David Packer, former publisher of the National Enquirer, who bought and buried damaging stories about Trump, is expected to be the first witness for the prosecution. This is the first time a U.S. president, current or former, has faced a criminal trial. Trump is also accused by prosecutors of breaching a gag order designed to stop him attacking those involved in the case. Authorities have evacuated nearly 60,000 people from their homes in Guangdong as days of heavy rain caused massive flooding in China's most populous province. 11 people have gone missing while no casualties have been reported so far. Footage on state media and online show large swaths of land inundated by the floods and rescuers ferrying people on lifeboats in waist-deep water. Several major rivers have burst their banks and authorities are closely monitoring dangerously high water levels. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anisul Haq said Labour Act will be amended, keeping the provision to form trade unions at factories. The minister said this while addressing journalists after his meeting with a delegation representing U.S. trade representative in the Secretariat today, informing that conditions to form trade unions at factories are being relaxed. Anisul Haq said, according to the present law, any factory having the number of 3,000 workers or above requires consents from 15% workers to form trade unions. The Mandate Act will not require factories having any fixed number of workers to form trade unions, the minister added. Deputy Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan, Evazbek Atakanov, paid a courtesy call on advisor to the Prime Minister on private industry and investment, Salman F. Rahman, at the Bangladesh Investment Development Authority BEDA office in the capital today. Salman F. Rahman and Evazbek Atakanov discussed various bilateral issues between the two countries. Advisor to the Prime Minister on private industry and investment and Deputy Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan briefed journalists after the meeting. Addressing the journalist, Salman F. Rahman said Kyrgyzstan is keen to recruit Bangladeshi workers as the Kyrgyz government is expanding its agricultural sector beside industrialization. He also said the Prime Minister of Kyrgyzstan will soon visit Bangladesh, through which relationship between the two countries will be strengthened more in future. Talking to reporters, Deputy Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan said Bangladesh is a rapidly developing country and its citizens are very friendly. He also hoped that people from both the countries will enhance communication and expand business among them. News on Sports. Royals are now batting with a victory target of 180 runs against Mumbai Indians in today's lone match of IPL in Jaipur. Batting first, Mumbai Indians scored 179 runs for 9 wickets in their stipulated 20 overs. Tilak Varma scored 65 runs for Mumbai. To end the bulletin headlines once again. Bangladesh rolls out red carpet reception to Emir of Qatar Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani as he arrives in Dhaka on a 2-day visit. President Mohammad Shahabuddin receives him at the airport. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurates the maiden National Adaptation Plan Expo, saying the world could be saved if the money spent in wars is used for climate change. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to visit Thailand on April 24 to attend the 80th UN ESCAP session. Extreme heat wave paralyzes public life. Heat alert extended for 3 more days in the country. Netanyahu vows to reject any sanction on his country's military as US plans to impose sanctions against units of Israel Defense Forces. And IPL match between Rajasthan Royals and Mumbai Indians being held in Jaipur. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. And we invite you to watch our 11:30 p.m. Bangla News. Until then, Khuda Hafiz.